examination on which day? I think on 27th. 27th of January, PT3 examination is there, social. From that, we have history, social and political science, life, that is civics. Chapter I already explained to you. The 5 chapters are there. And the pattern of examination is MCQ, short answers, means very short answers and short answers, like 2 marks and 5 mark question. Okay. So, 8 2 mark questions are there. 5 1 mark question 5 are there. Left over kitna ho gaya? How much?
Sir, 21 are done, sir. So
21. Then 3 mark question. How many will be there? 3.
9 MCQ.
No. 3. 3 marks, 3 questions makes 9 marks, na? 2 marks, 8 questions. Kitna hua? 16. Then that makes 21, na?
yes, sir. 9, 21, 30.
No. Kitna hua? 1 into 5 is equal to 5. 2 into 8, 16. 16 plus 5,
21.
21. Plus 9,
30.
30. So, political science, civics, 30 marks. Okay. So, you have mixture of MCQ plus very short answer and short answer. So, in very short answer, write 2 to 3 sentence, and short answer like 3 mark question you can explain in detail. Any doubt related to the examination?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. ठीक है. If you don't have doubt related to examination, let me start the chapter. Chapter number 8 according to the old textbook. So you just write the name of the chapter. Civilizing Natives, Educating the Nation. Chapter from history. Okay. Civilizing Natives, Educating the Nation. Are you with me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Civilizing Natives and Educating the Nation. This chapter is from history, and in this chapter we are dealing about the British policies, the British East India Company's policy towards spreading of English education in India, and how the British East India Company's law or various acts by the Parliament of British implemented system of education of or the schooling what today we are seeing in India step by step. Simultaneously, in the same chapter we are discussing about how our system of gurukuls, because in India we had a system of gurukul where a child or a student pupil visit the house of teacher and stay there and learn all the important skills of life, and once the teacher or the guru decides that his education is over, then he can go back to the home. Hope you know this, because those who know the story of Ramayana and Mahabharat. Hello?
Yes, sir. We know, sir.
Yes.
We know
Yes,
it.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Ramayana.
that was the system of education in India before British introduced the schooling or the British system of education. So we are going to study about that. More than that, moreover, we are going to study about there are few thinkers in India like Rabindranath Tagore, even Mahatma Gandhi. They were not in the favor of English education. Rabindranath Tagore's famous Shantiniketan schools, even today, they are purely follow the system of education in a Indian style of education, that is open schoolings with less restriction of selecting subjects. A person who is interested can pursue his own course of interest. Hope you have watched a movie called Three Idiots.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes.
What
Yes, sir,
was
we
the
know.
what was the main theme of movie?
Sir, to
Sir, we
follow
should not depend on the bookish language.
Follow our passions.
Yes, sir.
माधवन का फैशन क्या था उसमें?
photography, sir.
Photography.
Photographers.
Good.
Wildlife photography.
Actually, Three Idiot was a movie that was a mockery on the modern education system, isn't it? Our modern education system,
Yes.
like our parents say that doctor bano, engineer bano, officer bano, whatever it may be, but because we start comparing ourselves with the neighbors, and we or our parents feel that we should educate, and not only we should get educated not for the purpose of being a good citizens. The very purpose of getting education is to get a job and earn more money. If you earn more, then it is understood that you are highly educated. So in the process of this, the actual interest of the child is not taken care. Okay. So that is what the film. So this chapter deals about after completion of this chapter, we'll come to know how the system of education, what today we see, that syllabus, textbooks, examination, sitting in the inside the four walls. This system of education was introduced by the British East India Company. So this chapter deals about civilizing natives and educating nation. Don't you feel a different name with the chapter that is called civilizing natives? What do you mean by this terminology called civilizing native?
It means that according to British, according to British, Indians were considered as uncivilized,
Very good.
savage.
Very good.
Sir, updating the villages. Sir.
Okay, here native means who is native
People
here?
who are people who are living in India.
Indians. Indians. Okay. Educating nation means which nation?
India, sir.
India,
India,
sir.
Yes.
India.
Okay.
Nation.
So here you have to understand that the British East India Company systematically justified their course of action. What the British projected to the world that we are here, that is the British East India Company's ruling in India for what? For civilizing this country. So it is the duty of the British East India Company to civilize the natives, civilize the Indians who are, as Shobhan told, they are savage, they are uncivilized, barbaric. So, savage, uncivilized, or barbaric Indians. So, the responsibility of civilizing them, it is entrusted on whom?
Indians.
On the
Indians.
Indians,
Britishers, sir.
on the Britishers, on the Britishers. Good. So, and British said that we are here to civilize Indians as well as we are here to educate a nation, educate a country which is illiterate. So the very name of the chapter itself clearly says that British wanted to project and justify the act, whatever the act which they are doing, as correct from their point of view. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In earlier chapters, you have seen how the British rule affected Rajas and Nawabs, peasants and tribals. In this chapter, we will try to understand that what implication it had for the lives of student. For British in India wanted not only territorial conquest and control over revenues, they also felt that they had a cultural mission too. They had to civilize the natives and change their customs and values. So, point number one, British initially captured territories. Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, Anglo-Mysore Wars, Anglo-Sikh Wars. So, chap previous chapters in the history, we discussed about the territorial conquest of the British by waging war. And we also discussed about the system of revenue collection by the British by introducing various systems of hello
Tax,
Yes, sir.
revenue collection, sir.
various systems of tax. What are the system of tax introduced by the British?
Malwari system.
Parivari
Permanent
system, Monroe system, Raitwari system.
Okay. So
permanent settlement system.
so here the sentence you see, the initially British wanted to capture India. That's why territorial conquest, revenue collection was over. Later, they wanted to impact on the culture too. If you come across the writings of Lord Macaulay, when he visited India, he traveled across Bengal and he saw and he understood that India is a culturally very rich country. Customs, traditions, and value systems in India are there in a very, very high level. So he wrote a letter to the British Parliament. We cannot control this country unless we spoil the culture of this country in a systematic way. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Take for example, every day if someone comes to you and say you are an idiot, you are a useless, you are very dull. Every day if repeatedly someone says, don't you think slowly our mind started accepting the things?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We gradually grow into
That is what. Take for example, unfortunately, the subject maths is done like that. Every person who says that, okay, you are going to school, college, okay, maths is tough, isn't it? Your brother, sister, seniors, everybody say this subject is tough, be careful. Now, what happened? Unknowingly, you develop a fear psychosis. Have you observed that a child, a infant of or a 2 or 3 years old or less than that, don't have that fear, goes near to the dog, touches the dog, cow, even tiger
Yes,
things
Yes, sir.
also, that child will not have a fear. Why?
that will
Sir,
happen.
because he was lacking the experience,
he's
sir.
not yet
As he
told
grow
about
up,
the
he
tiger or
develops
dog.
getting
Yes.
experience.
One of the reason is that one that infant is very innocent because that preoccupied thoughts and ideas are not there, isn't it? Okay, so it is very difficult to rule those brains which are not spoiled. Now, I'll give a simple example. Whenever the parents' day is there, if your parent is coming in traditional dress like lungi and all those things, is white lungi or shirt with wearing chappal and all, or someone's parent visit the school with the formals, a boy whose parents in the formals will feel more comfortable than the second one. It is happening.
Yes, sir.
Do we attach lot of importance for dress?
Yes, sir.
Do we attach that this is a modern dress, this is a traditional dress? Do we do that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are we
Yes,
doing
sir.
it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Yes, sir.
Why we are doing?
Sir, because that type of thought is developed in our mind.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
because that type of thought is
Everyone will-
developed in our mind. That is what Lord Macaulay said, that if you want to control this country, it is we have to spoil the culture of this country. And we should tell these people that you are uncivilized, you are barbaric, your continent is a dark continent. So continuously, if you go on explaining this to the people, then only you can control the nation. That is what the problem. Okay, today you see many foreign countries, European countries especially, they're looking towards India. Okay, they're looking to India because in most of the European countries, major problem is a old age problem. There is nobody to take care of the old citizens of that country because the institution of family bonding is not there in the European countries. Whereas in India, we have a strong institution called family where father, brother, sister, grandfather, grandmother, we have got a lot of attachment. Okay. This is what our culture. So British had a task. British had a mission of what? Cultural mission. Cultural mission is nothing but destroying the culture of India so that they can comfortably rule us for a longer period of time. So British had a cultural mission in which they wanted to civilize the natives and change the customs and values of Indians. Are you with me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
Sir, we can't hear your voice, sir.
How can you hear my voice when there was no internet? Okay. There was a problem with the internet. Now it is rectified.
Okay, sir.
Okay. क्या क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा था मैं बिफोर दैट? हेलो,
Yes, sir.
व्हाट वाज द
Yes,
क्वेश्चन?
sir.
क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा था मैंने?
Sir, destroying the culture of India, sir. How
Destroying the
British
culture of India,
Yes, sir.
customs and traditions.
traditions.
So British had a cultural mission of destroying the customs and traditions of India. So what changes which introduced by the British? British wanted to destroy the local vernacular language. Why the British wanted to destroy the vernacular language? Because British were not able to understand what Indians are speaking. That's the reason why they wanted to spoil the local vernacular language. Okay. How British saw Indian education? Can you read,
Sir, can I read?
please?
Yes, sir. How British saw education. Let us look at what the British thought and did. How some of the ideas of education that we now take for granted evolved in the last 200 years. In the process of this inquiry, we will also see how Indians reacted to British ideas and how they developed their own views about how Indians were to be educated.
Continue.
The traditional Orientalism in
Orientalism.
1783, a person named William Jones arrived in Kolkata. He had an appointment as a junior judge at the Supreme Court that the company had set up. In addition to being an expert in law, Jonas was a linguistic. He had studied Greek and Latin at Oxford, knew French and English. He picked up Arabic from a friend and had also learned Persian. At Calcutta, he began spending many hours a day with Pandit who taught him the sta- stabilities of Sanskrit language, grammar, and poetry. Soon he was studying ancient Indian texts on law, philosophy, religion, politics, morality, arithmetic, medicine, and other sciences. John has discovered that his interests were shared by many British officials living in Calcutta at the time. Englishmen like Henry Thomas, Colebrook, and
Holbrook.
Nathaniel Colebrook and Nathaniel Head were also busy discovering the ancient Indian heritage, mastering Indian languages, and translating Sanskrit and Persian works into English. Together with them, John set up the Asiatic Society of Bengal and started a journal called Asiatic Researchers.
Continue.
Jonas and
Holbrook.
Colebrook came to represent a particular attitude towards India. They shared a deep respect for ancient cultures both of India and the West. India's Indian civilization, they felt, had attained its glory in the ancient past, but had subsequently dislined. In order to understand India, it was necessary to discover the sacred and legal texts that were produced in the ancient period. For only those texts could reveal and real ideas and laws of Hindus and Muslims, and only a new study of these texts could form the basis of future development in India. So
Continue.
Jonas and Colebrook went about discovering ancient texts, understanding their meaning, translating them, and making their finding known to others. This project, they believe, would not only help the British learn from Indian culture, but it would also help Indians rediscover their own heritage and understand the lost glories of their past. In this process, the British would become the guardians of Indian culture as well as its master.
Continue. Last two paragraphs.
Influenced by such ideas, many company officials argued that the British ought to promote Indian rather than Western learning. They felt that institutions should be set up to encourage the study of ancient India texts and teach Sanskrit and Persian literature and poetry. The officials also thought that Hindus and Muslims ought to be taught what they were already familiar with and what they valued and treasured, not subjects that were aligned to them. Only then they believed could the British hope to win a place in their heart of the natives. Only then could the aligned rulers accept to be respected by their subjects.
It's alien, na?
Aligned, sir.
Okay. Continue. Next
Yes, sir.
slide. Okay.
With this subject in view, a mother was set up in Calcutta in 1781 to promote the study of Arabic, Persian, and Islamic law. And the Hindu college was established in Banaras in 1791 to encourage the study of ancient Sanskrit texts that would be useful for the administration of the country.
Okay.
Not all officials shared these views. Many were very strong in their criticism of the Orientalists.
Okay. Now we'll move. Thank you. To the top. One, here we come across three terms. One is Orientalist, second is linguist. Okay. Please write the name of the person, William Jones. Write down. So, in 1783, a person named William Jones arrived in Calcutta. He was a linguist. Now, what is linguist means? What is the meaning of term linguist?
Sir, a person who
A
knows many
person who
languages.
speaks more than two languages.
Please write down that. Someone who knows and studies several languages is called linguist. Please write down. Now, what is the benefit of linguist?
Sir, he has known the culture of many different languages through their language.
Okay, benefit of being a linguist is one, you can understand several languages so that you can read the literature related to several languages. When you read the literature of related to several language, it is very easy to understand the culture of that particular language. Today we have a electronic media. Today we have TV, Android mobiles and all. If you just click and type what is the culture of festival of Assam, you will get the video. But imagine 200 or 300 years before, the system of electronic media was not there. So how you come across the social and cultural condition of the society based on the novels written on those days. Okay. Now, when you read English novels, then definitely we come across the culture or the societal condition of European countries. Now, a person who know only reading and writing English and he is clueless about Indian languages or any other language, naturally he may criticize Indian culture. Why? Why he
Sir,
may?
being an Indian, he is not having the cultures of Indian, sir.
Because he
He
don't have
don't
an
know
idea
Hindi.
of Indian culture. If I say that during Diwali festival, the burning of the Ravan, क्यों करते हैं हम? Why we do this?
So to
Because
destroy
they
evil,
believe
sir.
that Ravana is a bad man person.
Why we do this?
Sir, to kill all evil.
It is very simple that symbolically every human being have a lot of evil habits or the bad habits. So it is told that we have to control our bad habits or evil habits. Okay. So someone who comes from a foreign country who may explain that as a it is environmental damage, है ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He will say that
Yes,
it's an environmental damage. इसको क्यों जला रहा है? ये सब कार्बन एमिशन ज्यादा होता है, CO2, ये all those things. Why? Because his knowledge about this particular practice is nil.
Lacking behind.
Okay. So, first time in India, actually you should understand, British had a two set of officers. One set of officers who had a great regard and respect to the Indian culture. Okay. At the same time, there were later same set of officers, one more set of officers who were against the Indian culture. Macaulay was one among them. Okay. There were many officers who visited India as a representatives of British East India Company. They were very negative about Indian culture, Indian tradition. But it was not a general statement because there were enough people, enough British officers who were fond of Indian culture. One such was, please write down his name. I told, what is his name?
William Jones, sir.
William
William
Jones.
Jonas.
What was his
William
post?
Jones,
What was his post?
Judge, sir.
He
Junior
was appointed as a junior judge
junior
in
judge.
Supreme Court of
Yes, sir.
Supreme
Calcutta,
Court.
sir.
Okay.
Kolkata.
Now what he done, very important because you know his post is of judge in a court. So naturally, when a judge, if a judge in a court he should, before giving a judgment, it is very important to understand the local law proceedings. So what he used to do, he used to spend a lot of time with the local pandits, and he used to read, try to get the description of Sanskrit language, because in India those days most of the dominant language, important things were written in Sanskrit. Moreover, he used to study Greek, Latin, Oxford, means French and English language. So he also picked up Arabic. Now, once you picked up Arabic, it is very easy to understand major Muslim countries' philosophy in Asia. So, William Jones slowly understood that before implementation of law in India, it is very important to understand the local culture. And after understanding the local culture only, we can implement the rules and regulations in India. Okay. He was helped by one more person. कौन है?
Colebrook, sir.
Colebrook.
Thomas.
Please write down his name also.
Henry Thomas Colebrook, sir.
Okay, please write down. So, together they were busy in collecting the facts and figures and translating those to Indian literature. Okay. So, after that, to work, they started an institution called Asiatic Society. Please write down. Even today in West Calcutta, Asiatic Society is a very active literary club. Please write down this name. So, setup of Asiatic Society of Bengal, and they started publishing journals in the name of Asiatic Research. So Asiatic Research was journals published based on the research which they done on vernacular language or the local language. So these 2 or 3 British officials, they started respecting Indian culture and traditions, and they started getting help from Hindu and Muslim religious leaders to understand the Indian personal culture. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hope you are there with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, don't worry. With one paragraph, I'll stop. So here, William Jones, he started discussing several ideas with Hindus and Muslims, and not only that, by studying ideas with Hindus and Muslims, this helped him to administer justice in a better way. Not only that, he, by reading this local vernacular language, he believed that there is example that Indian culture was at the peak. That is what we say, the Gupta period of golden age. So when these 2 officers studied about Indian culture, they understood that in the medieval Indian history, early medieval Indian history, Indian cultural heritage was at its peak. But slowly, after the attack of Mughals and other Mohammedan rulers, that is the reason why there was a decline of culture and heritage of India. So they understood that instead of directly blaming Indian culture as uncivilized or very barbaric, it is better to understand the past and project certain policies to the development of Indian culture. Do you feel this philosophy put forward by these 2 3 officers will be accepted by others? Okay. Anyhow, you are in the last but one period. Most of you are in the, I don't know what state. Okay. So, Orientalist and Occidental, these two things we'll study tomorrow. Oriental culture and Occidental culture. A culture which support the Oriental literature and culture which support the Western literature. Okay. That we'll study in the upcoming class. Take care. Thank you.
Sir, who is in this photo, sir?
Care.
Who's the man in this photo?
Imaginary.
Okay, sir.
What a
Take
nice.
care. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Stop the